we refined what is now the best organic lead generation system in the world. That all the people that used to be running funnels are all coming to us to learn now, right? But it was because I had spent 2 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of testing and not getting a result. And I was always like, why is this not working for me, right? But instead, we found something, we created something that nobody else had ever seen. All right. Good morning, everybody. I hope you are having an absolutely stellar day so far, getting off to a stellar week. Today, I want to prove to you that all of your bad hands in life are actually your best weapons. I'm going to prove this to you in just a second. One of my favorite quotes from Buddha says, the struggle in life is what makes success so sweet, but it's much, much more than that. And I want to dig into it because we're all dealt bad hands, right? You raise your hand. Have you been dealt a bad hand, right? We've all been dealt bad hands in life. But what if those bad hands were actually meant for you? What if those bad hands were actually to help you in some way, right? One of my favorite things to tell people, I don't care if you believe in God or Mother Earth or some higher divine energy or some aliens that are just, a different dimension, more intelligent than us, or the universe juice, whatever you believe in. One of the things is like, if you ask for courage, do you think that divine higher power gives you courage, or do they give you the opportunity to grow and overcome something and become courageous, right? See, a lot of the times our bad hands are actually meant for us to help us in some way. And you can't see it now, right? But 5 years from now, it's exactly what you needed, right? When I first started my coaching business, I spent my last penny and started digging myself into debt to hire a 12K mastermind and coach that was frankly shit, right? They were awful and I didn't get anything from them. So it was the first time that I had put myself into credit card debt, and it was for somebody that was not helping me. And I cursed the earth. I cursed absolutely everything. I was like, how do I deserve this? I'm here trying to do good, right? But I look back on that experience now and I realized that hiring that coach was probably one of the most important things in my entire business career. Because number one, it taught me who I didn't want to be as a coach. It taught me how not to serve others, right? And number two, it put me in a situation where I had to overcome every single one of my fears to continue to invest, even though I had already put myself into debt and I had spent 12 grand on somebody who did not work for me. And the next couple of coaches that I hired helped me kind of piece together the last pieces of the recipe so that my business could take off, right? Then 6 months into my business, I lost my best friend. My best friend, AJ, killed himself. And again, I find myself cursing the world, cursing the universe, like pissed off at how could this happen to me? How did I deserve this? Right? And I look back now, those 3 years ago to when I lost AJ, and I can see why I have the fire that I have. I can see why I will never give up. I can see why I will have a massive, massive impact on this world. Because that bad hand that I was dealt helped open my consciousness up to a totally new reality of what was possible and what I was meant to do. Losing AJ may have been the best thing that's ever happened to me. And it's hard to see that when you're in the middle of your best friend committing suicide. But now I look back at it and I see the millions of people that is going to impact, how AJ is going to continue to live on through my actions, right? Over the last 2 years, I've spent over $100,000 testing different funnels and ad campaigns, everything that people said would work, webinars, VSLs, opt-in funnels, all this stuff, right? Because I wanted to find what was absolutely best for our clients, for you guys. And in testing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of funnels of what people said would work and not getting there, we refined what is now the best organic lead generation system in the world. That all the people that used to be running funnels are all coming to us to learn now, right? But it was because I had spent 2 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of testing and not getting a result. And I was always like, why is this not working for me? Right? But instead, we found something, we created something that nobody else had ever seen. Right? Let's take it even further back. I got a DUI my senior year in college. I was going to be a fighter pilot in the Air Force. I had spent 5 years in Air Force ROTC, and I had geared up to spend the next 20 years of my life. I geared up to spend 20 years of my life in the Air Force as a fighter pilot. I was graduating top of my class, and my senior year, I got a DUI. And as a 22-year-old kid, your whole life is shattered after that. You ask, why? How did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? And I didn't realize why that had happened to me until a couple of years ago when I realized, when I started to really live my mission and see where I'm going and the thousands and the millions of people that I'm going to impact. That DUI prevented me from going down a path that would have locked me in and prevented me from helping the millions of people that are in my future. You can't see it in the moment. I remember sitting in that drunk tank. I remember sitting in that drunk tank thinking, how is this supposed to be beneficial? I always had a positive mindset. I always like to look at the positive, but I was like, how can this be positive? I just lost my entire life. I'm going to get kicked out of the Air Force for this. How can this be positive for me? Right? You can't see it when you're in the middle of the struggle. You never can, but you have to trust, you have to have faith. And 10 years after that, I look back and I'm like, that was one of the best things that's ever happened in my life. Let's take it back even further. When I was in high school, I was a nerd and I struggled to make friends and was bullied because I was so good at math, right? In high school and middle school, I struggled to make friends. And for 4 years, I studied people because I wanted to understand people and I wanted to be liked. And I look where I'm at now, and it was that desire to understand people, to understand psychology, to understand behavior and what makes people tick, what makes society tick. That's going to be one of the reasons that I'm able to have a massive impact on the world and the reason I'm going to be able to change society. Take it back even further. When I was in second grade, I tested with a low IQ. I was almost on the spectrum. I tested with a low IQ in second grade, and they told me that I was going to be held back in second grade. And I had a teacher of mine tell me, Zander, if you want to be smart, you have to work hard at it. Now, even though I was slow in second grade, I learned the growth mindset. You guys have heard this story before, right? In second grade, I was told I was slow, and I learned the growth mindset. I ended up graduating second grade, ended up graduating third, fourth, fifth, all the way up into middle school. By the time I got to middle school, I was taking math at the high school. By the time I got to high school, I was taking math at college. Hence me being a nerd that struggled to make friends. But you can see how every bad hand that I have ever been dealt ended up being the reason, not helpful, the single reason for my next success. But you can never see it in the moment. You can never see it in the moment, but the fact remains, it is law. Every bad hand that you are dealt is the reason you will be successful. And I need you to start to see this. It is law. It is as true as gravity. So I want you to take 5 minutes here. And I want you to write down every bad hand that you've ever been dealt in life. Get to at least 10. Write down every bad hand that you've been dealt in life. Maybe you have more recently. Maybe you have more when you were younger. I want you to write down every bad hand that you've ever been dealt in life. And I want you to write down how it actually benefited you, how it grew you, how it helped you become the person you've become, or how it helped you succeed moving forward. I want you to write down every single bad hand that you have ever been dealt. And I want you to write down why it is actually your greatest weapon. Because the truth is, the sooner that you start to accept this, the sooner that you start to accept this law as truth, the sooner you will realize that every time you're struggling, it's a good thing. Every struggle is a good thing. This is you getting out of your comfort zone. This is you pushing forward for growth. This is you becoming the person that you were meant to be. And if you do not struggle, you will not grow. If you do not get out of your comfort zone, you will not grow, right? Growth equals discomfort. Discomfort equals growth, equals struggle. They are all synonymous. They are all the same thing. And if you shy away from those things, if you pull away from those things, you will never get to who you need to be to have the impact you want and the life that you deserve. The truth is, every bad hand you've ever been dealt is the reason you will be successful. The sooner you accept this law, the sooner you will actually achieve success.